Basically, Kinetica is a futuristic racer in the spirit of Extreme G3, Wipeout, that sort of thing, with a bit of SSX thrown in there for good measure. The game has a pretty heavy trick element to it. You basically do tricks just as you would in SSX in order to gain boost, which allows you to go much faster than you normally would. There's also a little bit of combat thrown in there, though it doesn't play too big a part in the game. More of it is really focused on doing the tricks to gain the speed, to gain the lead. Definitely the thing you'll notice first about the game is just its visual design. The actual character designs are pretty wild. Bring to mind, you've seen the light cycles from Tron. And if you combine that with Psykill from the GoBots, you'll pretty much be close to what these things look like. A lot of them are just these scantily clad human females, all decked out in cyber gear and with wheels between their fists and ankles. And they're just sort of rolling down super fast. And from a technical standpoint, all the designs are great. Super generous on the polys, and all the effects that come with all their tricks and boosts and everything are ultra well done. Just totally adding to some kind of slick presentation. This game really does take the sort of track design you've come to associate with them futuristic racers. It takes it totally over the edge. A lot of instant death looking drops, a lot of very Mobius strip like areas where you're sort of twisting and turning down this ribbon like path. All that sort of thing is there, and the fact that it's all rendered in real time, that it's all happening super fast, just sort of makes it hit home. It really feels fast when you're going down some of these straightaways, and just all the types of interactive elements that you encounter as you go through them really do add a lot of activity to what's going on at any given moment. Oftentimes as you're racing through some of the tracks, especially some of the crazier ones, you'll come to a point on the road where the actual road you're driving on either drops very steeply down or else pulls upwards, causing you to double up on yourself. And the result is often very disconcerting, despite the fact it doesn't really affect the gameplay aside from an aesthetic standpoint. You're basically seeing your perspective radically change as you're going through the same track, which obviously brings with it some kind of crazy gameplay issues. Either you can't see the track before you, or you don't know where to go, or just a moment when the actual perspective change occurs, it'll catch you off guard as far as your controls go. It's easy to assume that the developers at Sony really chose to focus on visual dynamics over utility and ease of use when it came to designing some of the tracks. It's clear from the moment when one of those radical perspective shifts occurs and you're sort of left for a split second not knowing what to do. But ultimately it's forgivable, given that they actually pulled it off. It looks cool and it feels insane, suitably so. 3, 2, 1. There's still about 2 months before the game ships, so the team at Sony does have a lot of time to fix whatever nagging little problems remain, even though at this point nothing serious seems to be in there. One thing is the game does run at a pretty consistent frame rate, probably in the high 50s, 60 in many cases. When there are a lot of activity on screen at one time, though, it does manage to chug a bit. As far as the game's more disorienting properties go, that's likely something that people are just going to have to deal with. It's not anything so serious, so it only happens in certain instances, and once you learn to expect it, you can probably compensate for it. The game is likely to be pretty cool, even if you just look at it from a visual standpoint. It plays very competently, it has a lot of interesting mechanics to it, and it will definitely hold the attention of people who are into that sort of thing. So it's due out in October, and we'll tell you more about it as soon as we get more info.